Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN. On this holly jolly Monday morning, I, one of your hosts, Ty Windisch, am joined by Santa's favorite elf, Rohan Katti. Rohan, how's it doing? Are you in the Christmas spirit yet? I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but now we're really here. It's the 18th.
Yeah. It's fun being around, like seeing all like the holiday lights everywhere when you go outside. It's nice. I wish there was some snow, but oh well. But
I know, it would be great to get some. Honestly, I'll lay out the game plan, and I have not looked at a weather report. But if we could get some, like, Wednesday-ish, a good amount, like, before holiday travel starts, but let's get it in place. Do you know what I mean? Like, bring it down on Wednesday, let our great plow crews and everyone go through and make sure our roads are safe by the weekend, and then travel, and you get to look at the snow on the way. Didn't look at a weather report. Won't complain. All Bucks fans got their Christmas gift a few months early when the team acquired Damian Lillard, and that gift was on full display over Milwaukee's back-to-back this past weekend. The Bucks thankfully, very thankfully, they did not succumb to the trap game.
we were both really worried about that. We were really worried about it.
I said I was horrified the day before the game, and then like first quarter, they're up by like 28. And I go back and I go, well, maybe the horror has subsided. Maybe the Pistons are just too bad for this to happen.
There was a lot on the line. I said if the Bucks lose that game, I'd do 22 shots. So
yeah, I feel like you kind of just wanted to do 22 shots.
No.
Okay.
I really didn't.
Well, you didn't have to. The Bucks.
Thankfully.
The Bucks, what was the final on that one?
140.
146 to 114.
They extended the Pistons' losing streak to 32 points. I don't know if you saw the Pistons' social admin had some fun with that, posting the final score. They used number 23 as the photo, which was really fun. So
that's fun. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the games, but then just to recap the weekend, this was actually not a joke game, although you may have to recalibrate your expectations after the past couple of years here. The Houston Rockets come into town with the NBA's second-ranked defense, according to defensive rating, before the game at least. On rest advantage for Houston, they did not play a back-to-back. The Bucks without starter Malik Beasley and, of course, without Jay Crowder. Pat Connaughton did return for these games, which is great. And the Bucks, was this wire to wire? No, probably in the first quarter it wasn't. I missed some of the first quarter of this game. But
it was not wire to wire.
But in the second quarter, Milwaukee jumps out to a lead, and while Houston battles back a bit here and there, not as dramatic as some of these Bucks games we're used to seeing against, we'll say good, right? I think we can say good, maybe not great, but good Houston Rockets team, a good defense, a very annoying coach and player combination in Dillon Brooks, who Bucks fans were spared an extra 40 seconds of when they both decided to get ejected, which honestly, like, we could go back to the play-by-play. The game wasn't fully over when they did that.
I'm going to be honest. You're going to need to explain it to me because I was at that game and we had left.
A lot of cussing. Okay. So I saw Shane Young, who covers the league. I think now the Suns, he's in Phoenix covering them. A good follow on the Twitter and anywhere else that he posts. He said, I don't know if it was a different view on like League Pass or something, but apparently he's like, I flipped open Bucks Rockets and I just see Dillon Brooks going crazy on a ref for like 5 minutes cussing. And I guess Ime jumped into it too and did the same. And I think they picked up a combined like 4 technicals. Because after that, it was just Dame shooting free throws. And he missed one because Fred VanVleet was cracking everyone up at the line. I don't know if you could see this from your vantage point, but the camera angle, you could see Fred VanVleet is like cracking jokes. And Dame and Bobby are like trying not to laugh.
So he's probably like, I'm sick of this.
It was like probably. He's like, he's again with these guys, but it was like not that. I mean, I'll pull up now. I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was really in danger. I mean, I think the Bucks had a pretty good lead, but when they got ejected, okay, it was a 9-point game with 48 seconds left, so probably over. But a couple threes, couple turnovers,
not technically over.
And then it's 128-116 after Dame gets to shoot 4 free throws on text.
It was
just
crazy.
On text.
It was crazy because, yeah, like I mentioned, I was leaving the arena with the people I was with. And then you just like, the good thing about Five Stuff is you can hear the broadcast even no matter where you are. And we just hear technical foul, technical foul, technical foul.
Yeah,
And we're like, what is happening right now?
So, yeah, it was not a fracas. So it was a no call on. Oh, Dylan Brooks got a flopping tech. I didn't even see that. So maybe that's probably what set him off. But, the ball's kind of going out of bounds after Chris like kind of turns it over, but then Pat comes and gets it back. And I guess that's when Dylan Brooks flopped and they didn't call a foul. I guess they ended up giving him the flopping tech. And then that play is kind of what set everything off. So, yeah, it was weird, though, in that usually if there's going to be that many techs, the other team is involved. And this was strictly Rockets versus refs, which you do not see very often.
No, you really do not see that very often at all. And it's just amusing. Of course it's Dylan Brooks and Udoka. Like there's no other player pairing in the NBA that's more suited for that to happen than those two.
100%. I know the Rockets and Rockets fans seem to be miffed at a foul discrepancy in this game as well. I mean, I don't know.
First time watching a Bucks game?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the evergreen thing of like when one team gets to the rim a bunch and the other team doesn't, the numbers are going to be different. And they can powwow with Monty Williams and talk about – I'm sure Monty Williams wants to do anything but coach the Pistons. He'll take a call with the Rockets, and you guys can all vent about this and savor the L's you were given by the Milwaukee Bucks this weekend.
Yeah, because the way I learned how to play basketball is if you foul some team – the other team also has to be fouling you.
Yeah.
That's just how
it's
it
like
works.
Political coverage. It's 1-for-1 every time. The only way to play.
Yeah.
Even
Monty Williams.
Yeah. I never get tired of making fun of him.
No, how could you? How could you? Because it's so easy, it's so fun. But that man got a bag to do nothing.
Did you hear he preloaded the ref griping?
No, did he?
I think Dave Kane said this. Dave Kane.
Oh yeah, I did hear this.
Yes. Did a good job. I think he's the Bucks radio guy this season. But in his pregame, he talked about that Giannis is going to get too many calls, and it's just like actually pathetic.
I think he said like if I wanted to actually speak my mind, I'd get fined.
Like, you can afford it.
Exactly. And it's like, the game hasn't happened. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. You coach a team that's on a 22-game losing streak at the time, and that's what you're talking about.
Exactly. That's what he's thinking about heading up to the game. Not like, how can I put my guys in position? They're going to get so many calls. I just cannot believe that Marvin Bagley doesn't get the same whistle.
Just insanity.
I think Isaiah Livers should also get to shoot 13 free throws. He's 1 for 8. He was their shooter. He's 1 for 8, 0 for 5 from deep in that game. A couple of trends from these games, though, that we're going to talk about here. Dame finding his rhythm. Again, Dame had kind of a cold spell. I think it looked like in some of those games he may have been battling something. Like you saw him kind of – when he fell, you could kind of see some like – ouchie from Dame. That was my professional opinion. He's looking a lot better this past weekend. So against the Pistons, I know it's the Pistons. The numbers still count. Ask Joel Embiid's MVP candidacy. He's played no one but bums for 2 weeks, and they're still counting those. So Dame had 33 points on 50, 42, 100 shooting in that game. Threw in 5 assists and 4 rebounds for good measure. And then against Houston, he had 39 points on 58, 62, 92 splits, 11 for 19 from the field, 5 for 8 from deep. Also, just tossed in 11 assists, 3 steals on top of that as well, and another 5 rebounds. Not bad, Rohan. Not bad from Dame. After Dame, I hear people like this in pods. We're going to talk about Giannis making history and playing great. Talk about Andre Jackson Jr., a couple of real interesting starts, and then little Adrian Griffin upstock conversation. We do coaches on trends, not single games, so we'll talk about the trends in coaching. But let's start here with Dame because it's just been so fun to watch, and it's kind of reminded us, or me, I should say. I'll see how you feel. Oh, yeah. This was 100,000% worth it. Defense is for nerds. Second best defense in the NBA on a rest advantage. Let's just go hang 128 on them. Why not? The Bucks shoot 36% from three in this game, and the non-Dame Bucks shoot 28%. So you're without shooting outside of Dame. Yeah, we're still going to put up 128 on you. Why not?
That's the beauty of Damian Lillard. It truly is. And that's one of the greatest things about him, and why he's had such an upward trend recently, is he's found his shot. He's found his 3-point shot. I believe he's up to 44.3% in the month of December from three.
It's 36% overall, I saw. So the full season number's creeping up too.
Yeah, because that's because he shot 19% in the first month of the season or something ridiculous. But yeah, he's found his stroke from three, and then once he gets that into a rhythm, he's just impossible. He's impossible to guard. He shows why he's a top 75 player of all time. He shows why he's that dude, why he's Damian freaking Lillard, is he can pull up with the tiniest amount of space. And if you don't give him that inch of space, he'll blow by you immediately, get to the rim, and finish with ease, because he's one of the best point guard finishers in the NBA. And that, I also feel like, was on full display in these last couple games. It's not just the 3-point shooting. It's the ability to finish at the rim, those mid-range shots. But he's been taking less and less of those little fadeaway mid-rangers and more just attacking the rim. And that's something that's really, really, really important for this Bucks team, because you're getting constant rim pressure no matter what. If Giannis is on the court, you're obviously getting constant rim pressure. But even when Giannis is not in the game, you have a guy who can create rim pressure, create those drive and kick threes, get everyone else involved with Damian Lillard. So just that ability also unlocks the offense even more. Defense is for nerds, Ty. Defense is for nerds. Why do you need to play defense if you can score at will anytime? Obviously, I'm kidding, but
yeah,
just the concept of being able to outscore your opponents is not something that Bucks fans, Bucks watchers are used to. But we've sort of had to recalibrate ourselves towards it, because that's the reality of the situation. But the good thing is that this Bucks team is obviously very, very capable of outscoring opponents with ease, no matter what. Because guess what? You have two of the best offensive players in the league, two of the highest scoring players in the league.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the players on the team are just clicking together in a way they weren't earlier. I mean, I think the offense as a whole.
I thought the locker room was dead, Ty.
I think it is. I think it's done. I will tell you, and we're kind of skipping it. We're stealing from a future conversation on this episode, but how about Dame's effort on defense? I mean, all the things you said offensively apply. He had a block against Detroit. He had 3 steals against Houston. And I think since that's the most recent Pacers game, it has felt to me like he is fully locked in out there. I mean, I think he has been working, fighting to get around screens. He took on the Tyrese Halliburton assignment. I talked with Jordan Chesky about that on our post-game pod when we had a lot of fun with the ball controversy and Giannis' history and all that. But that was a part of the convo too. And ever since then, I feel like we have not seen the Dame where he's just kind of checked out defensively. I feel like he has bought in on another level, which again, these are things that tells me this is probably not a team that is phoning it in. If Damian Lillard is hustling defensively and working to get around screens and have good contests, that's a good sign. The offense is an even better sign. I mean, 39, 11, and 5 rebounds is wild. And you talked about recalibrating. I still am having to force myself to recalibrate oh, Dame, I don't know if that's a great, oh, you made it again? Oh, okay. Oh, it's sometimes it looks like he's kind of almost falling away from 3. How's the ball even going to get there? And it's just nothing but net. What a ridiculous player, dude. I can't believe we get to watch this guy. It's awesome.
Crazy. It's amazing. It's the best. Yeah, it's just some of the shot making is on full display, and it's a ridiculous level of scoring and difficulty and ease that we haven't seen since maybe the early days of the Tough Shot Express.
Yeah.
But
the volume on this is still different.
No, the volume's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
it's truly like you said, it's a privilege to watch.
I mean, I think you made a great point about his finishing too. Even on a night where he was clearly had it from deep and shoots 62.5%, 5 for 8. He still takes more 2s than 3s, and way more if you factor in 13 free throws as well. like Dame is not settling even when he is hitting those outside shots, which is a great sign as well. Let's talk about his running mate, someone who I think should be close to, if not leading the MVP conversation. I don't think that's actually happening, but Giannis, just very casually against Detroit, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on 77% from the field. Not bad. 7 for 9. Not bad.
Pretty good.
It's pretty solid. Really, this was a game Giannis passed like the whole game. I think could kind of read the room on what was happening, and he took exception a few times. Like Detroit went on a little mini run and he scored a bit, but he was trying to feed everyone. And you look up and down this box score and it's like AJ Green hit some threes. Pat knocked down a 3. Bobby's been shooting the 3 again. By the way, that's a big time development. We might have to talk about Bobby in this pod too, because I think he is hooping right now. And then against Houston, Giannis, 26 points, 17 rebounds, and passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for number 1 on the Bucks all-time rebounding list. We will go over some of his other statistical pursuits. 3 assists, 6 turnovers. Just honestly, I know it's 26-17 is very good. Actually, more of a ho-hum game from Giannis, but that's what I like about this partnership. It feels like these guys have a good sense of kind of feeling each other out sometimes, and there was clearly a lot of this game where Giannis was like, no, you can keep doing that, Dame. That's fine. That works.
Yeah, it's okay. I went out. I scored 64 points. It's fine. Now it's your turn. You go do that.
I was a little under the weather, so you just want to handle this one. That'd be great. And Dame's like,
I'd rather go talk. I'm going to go talk to my kids on the bench.
Dude, that was awesome against Detroit. Just like the last 5 minutes of the game, him and his kids are just hanging out, interacting with other Bucks. That was tremendous content.
It was adorable. It was precious and very indicative of the state of the Pistons.
Yeah, I wondered if Giannis would skip out of the game early because it started 2 hours before the Herd game to go watch Alex and the Herd again. Turns out, maybe even more disrespectfully, he chose to skip out early to just play with his kids on the bench instead.
Like the game is still going.
A lot of game left, and they're like Andre Jackson Jr. checks out, and the kids are high fiving him. Like it was so cool.
It was really cool, and again, speaks volumes. Andre Jackson Jr. checks out of the game, goes and plays with Giannis' kids on the bench, and there's still too much time left.
Well, he may have fouled. Did he foul out of that? No, he only had 4 fouls in that one.
Only.
Any thoughts on Giannis' play of late and his greatness before we go through these Bucks leader things?
I think you put it really well. Him and Dame are starting to figure out like how to feel each other out, see what's going on here. Because you obviously have the stretches where Giannis is going to be a dominant scorer and break all these records, but then you also have like, yeah, it's fine. Dame, you can go tie a season high 39 points now. It's fine. You do you, man.
So Giannis now leads the Bucks' career in games played, minutes played, field goals, field goal attempts, free throws, rebounds, assists, points, blocks, turnovers. He is 15 personal fouls away from catching Bob Dandridge, who apparently Bobby D was just fouling the hell out of people. I would not have guessed in a lot of guesses that Bob Dandridge led in personal fouls. Triple doubles by many. Kareem has 8, Giannis has 36. So that's almost everything. The stuff he is missing, field goals missed, he will almost certainly do that this season. He is 201.
Will he, though? I mean, if he keeps getting that field goal percentage up.
That's true. Going off of his past couple of seasons, which he is more efficient than those seasons, he usually misses about 500 shots a year. So given that we're about a fourth of the season, he will probably pass big dog Glenn Robinson, number 1 on field goals missed. I don't know if they're going to celebrate that one as much. Marcus Johnson still holds a Bucks all-time record for offensive rebounds. Worth noting, he doesn't really. I'm sure Kareem had more, but they didn't count them. So Marcus Johnson officially holds it at 1468. Giannis is at 1324. So this one may actually take him until next year. He averages he's actually on a tear so far this season, but like around 150 so offensive rebounds. So that'll be close. I'm guessing that'll be next season for offensive rebounds. And then 2-point field goals. He is 230-ish behind Kareem here. Or actually, no, 220-ish. He probably gets that one. Giannis makes a lot of twos. He makes more than 600 most seasons, almost 700 in 17-18. And again, we're not that far into the season, so he probably will do that. Then 2-point field goal attempts, which no one really cares about attempts, but he's third. He is still like 400 behind Kareem. So he's got some work to do there. Probably this or next season, though. Giannis shoots a lot of twos. So he will have everything except the one that he wants the most now, according to all of his comments whenever he does this. 3-point field goals. Chris Middleton, number 1 and counting at 1,281. Giannis, a respectable number 7 at 504. So 777, I think. No, 670, whatever. Hundreds behind Chris. Giannis makes about, 50 to 80 per year. His problem, though, is Chris makes more than that most seasons and is still going. So
Dame's going to pass him.
Dame probably will. Malik Beasley, if he stays more than a year, is going to have a shot, too, to pass him. Actually, Pat Connaughton is 5 behind Giannis, so he's got to worry about that, too. Giannis is 504, Pat's 499. Giannis is chasing Ersan. He is 32 behind Ersan Ilyasova. Brook Lopez 4th on this list, but he has about 420 to go to catch Michael Redd. It's a big 3 of guys who have made 1,000 or more, and then 4th is Brook at 586. So Pat and Giannis are both going to end up probably top 6 all time. I'm going to guess Pat first. We'll see how the rest of this season goes, but that's going to be contentious.
Is Giannis going to make 32 more threes this season?
He could.
He could. Will he? Do you think?
No, because he's not shooting them as much, which is probably good, but
thank goodness.
He is kind of sadly. Giannis is 7th in makes, 4th in attempts. Only Ray Allen, Michael Redd, and Chris have shot more. So Michael Redd wants it. Giannis wants it. Excuse me. It will take. Hey, if this is the reason Giannis plays on the Bucks until 2040, I will accept that.
It's gonna be. The thing is, we know he's psycho enough to do that.
I think he wants to. I think he really wants to. Just so he can laugh with Chris about it.
Yeah, he really wants every single Bucks record.
Literally, he just keeps doing what he's doing for like 2 more seasons, and he'll have all of them except that one.
Yes,
which is
he wants
wild.
Everything.
Hey, maybe he comes back as imagine if he's just like a 40% shooter next year, and just unironically, just like, well, I want to catch Chris, so that's what I did.
Hey, if that's the motivation it takes, man.
He's just working out with Dame all off season.
You know what? That's actually a good call out. Because, who better to teach you than one of the best shooters of all time?
Hey, they can start with free throws as far as I'm concerned, and then we can move back from there.
Yeah. But Dame's just like, Giannis, just do it in 3 seconds. You're fine. It's easy. Why are you sitting here for 12 seconds? Why are you having Ime Udoka count on the side?
I hate him so much.
I hate that.
I'm so glad they won that game.
I hate him so much.
That was a great feeling win.
Yeah. It's just like the Rockets just assembling villains.
They literally.
No, and Bucks villains too. Fred VanVleet got hot. I was like, I'm getting flashbacks.
I know. I thought
still have beef with that kid.
Freddie's kid?
Yeah. It's like
Fred
that
shot 50-50, 100 in that game, 22 points.
Yeah. Called. What's that show called?
Which one?
Real Boys of Simi Valley.
Where, I don't know that show.
It's have you ever seen the video of this guy having beef with a child?
Oh yeah, that's you.
Yeah. That's me.
I learned something about Alperen Şengün in this game.
Oh?
Does not like to shoot the 3 ball.
No.
That's a limiting factor on your offensive hub centers.
Yeah, that's why he's the lowest tier of that Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard evolution.
I feel like he's coming for Sabonis. Sabonis doesn't like to either.
You just don't like Sabonis.
I just think he's fine.
You don't like him.
I don't. No, I don't like him either, but I also just think he's fine. I've been over this. The way he plays pisses me off.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so Şengün, he had some nice finishes in the paint.
Oh yeah.
Did a little bit of work against Brook Lopez
until he got sent to the freaking Shadow Realm by Dame on our first Dame like true crossover, like or not first crossover, but first time breaking someone's ankles like that. Yeah, I mean that guy was dancing to the paint.
Yeah, the Bucks deleted the video.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. The fans have it. That's okay. They did their part.
It was unfortunate to see as I was scrolling my timeline. It said deleted by owner. And it's like,
come on. That's lame.
So unfortunate.
I mean, I did think it was a little excessive. They tweeted twice, 2 different angles. I was like, could you not put these together? But I wasn't mad about it at all.
No, absolutely not. What else do we need to talk about next? What should we talk about next?
I think the next biggest Bucks storyline from the last week is we could sneak Bobby in after this, but Andre Jackson Jr. So against Detroit, first game of a back-to-back, the Bucks have been, I like this, kind of aggressively, usually using Chris on the better game of the back-to-back. So he sits Detroit to play Houston, and Malik Beasley also ended up missing that game with non-COVID illness. Something's going around. I mean, in real life and in the NBA, there's a lot of guys suffering. A lot of people, general in the world, a lot of NBA players as well, suffering from this. So the kids got the start.
I love how you qualified that.
What do you mean?
No, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, it was very amusing to me.
It's not just men who get sick. I just say guys because NBA players are guys.
I know, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I don't want to discriminate. I mean, the cold doesn't discriminate or whatever it is going around. The flu, I think it's flu season, actually.
Yeah, RSV.
Yeah, RSVP.
To what?
The flu. The kids got the start. Marjon Beauchamp and Andre Jackson Jr. And I thought that was
which, by the way, made me a little more scared about that game.
I liked it going in because it was like, you know what? This young Pistons team, let's just bring our young energy from the start and make sure that we're not like sleepwalking through this game. And the Bucks really, really weren't. Again, that was a wire-to-wire demolition, and I thought both of the young guys played well.
I think it was our good friend Sparky who tweeted that the Pistons sort of have a target on their back now because no team wants to be the team that loses to the Pistons, which it's fuel to the fire.
It's probably worse than when you're a contender, like the Nuggets. You know, the Nuggets are getting people's A games because they just won. At this point in the year, it's like whatever. You know, we're far away from you winning. We're far away from the next playoffs. We'll play hard against you, Denver. But the Pistons, nobody wants to be on everyone's feed getting clowned for losing to the Detroit Pistons. No way. There's way more pressure playing the Pistons than any contender right now.
It's ridiculous. And it doesn't like the Pistons are really bad. They might be the worst basketball team I've ever seen. I think I tweeted that. Someone said the 12-13 Bucks are also up there. Bobcats.
I don't think that's true for the 12-13 Bucks. They were really injured that year.
Yeah.
And people forget that. They would not have been that bad of a team. And they still weren't a historic losing team. They were, 15-67?
Yeah.
That's bad, but that's not single digit. I think you get down to 12 wins in a full season. You get 70 losses, and that's like, that's generational suck.
Didn't the Bobcats win like 9 games or something?
But it was a shortened year, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's done single digits yet. I mean, if they don't make any trades, if they trade Bojan, like, oh my God.
Bojan's like the only adult in that room. And also the game made me really appreciate Cade.
Yeah, he has to work so hard. He just can't get anything done.
I hope you understand what I mean when I say like he's just like he's that meme of that Bugatti in that house.
Sisyphus.
Yeah, that's fair.
Their offense is the boulder, and his shooting is what crushes him every time he's close. But yeah, they're a mess. They're a total mess. But Marjon and Ajax brought it. Marjon had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist.
Started the game on 7 by himself.
Yeah, 7-0 personal run for Marjon, who was getting to the rim and knocking down some shots. And then Andre Jackson chipped in 10 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover for him. 4 fouls, which is still a thing to watch, but 2 for 5 from deep in that game for Ajax, and follows it up against Houston, Chris is back, but Andre Jackson Jr. gets another start. Malik Beasley still out. Malik Beasley, take some vitamin C or D or whatever. Don't let this kid get too many more reps in the starting lineup, man. This is getting a little. I mean, Malik will be fine either way within the Bucks, but it's getting a little scary for that starting spot. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover. Did foul out, but played 36 minutes, as many as Dame. 4 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from deep. He's shooting more often, and the shot looks so much better than when he was in Summer League and probably even preseason. It's not beautiful, but I think it's fine, and it's working, and that's the important.
It looks passable. It looks passable.
Yeah.
And it just makes me even more concerned, like, bro, Giannis, what are you doing? Like, 2 months with Josh Oppenheimer, and this guy actually, like, maybe Oppenheimer's not actually the problem.
I know. Everyone's conflicted now because it's like, did Oppenheimer just do wonders on this kid? Wait, maybe Oppenheimer's not the problem?
Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe he's actually like a god-tier shooting coach. Just like,
I don't know. I mean, has he been working with Bobby a little bit? We haven't seen him any Bobby shooting through flaming triangles lately. Maybe Oppenheimer's putting in extra work.
Yeah. Maybe he's got that Noah action.
Yeah. We know Pat used it.
Yeah. So he's going to pass Giannis for all-time made threes for the Bucks already.
5 away. Could happen in a single game if he gets really hot. MarJon played 12 minutes against Houston as well. Was not as involved. Did not take a shot. Had 1 rebound and 2 fouls. So kind of just out there getting cardio. He's been playing good defense. He doesn't foul as much as Ajax. But Andre Jackson Jr.'s fit with the starting 5 looked really good against Houston. Now that he is willing to shoot when he's open, that makes such a big difference because the defensive acumen, the athleticism, the hustle, and the passing really go well in that unit. I don't know if he's ready to fully be a starter yet, but there was 2 very good data points for him in this back-to-back. And I thought he looked like a real role player, not just an explosive young kid, which is what he was in some games earlier when, like, you know, he's driving toward the rim and then passing out. And it's like, okay, you just can't. Just please don't do that. He's been, I think, a lot better at picking his spots lately.
Yes, for sure. And also in a little bit of fair, it's kind of a tough matchup because so having just a lot of big wings makes it a little more difficult against him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ajax looks good, man. He looks good. I already signed the apology form.
We've done a lot of early apologizing, but at least it's in a way that benefits us, so that's good.
Yeah, and it's not like we're doing a lot of early like hating, so it's better than that.
Very true.
His fit looks really, really nice. I'm glad he's shooting because, like we talked about earlier, that's what's been holding him back. Just his complete previous not wanting to shoot at all. Like, he just did not want to shoot the basketball, and it would be annoying because he's getting into the paint and just not looking to make any sort of attempt at a shot getting to the rim at all. And that makes it easier for defenses to sort of cover you because if you're just looking for a pass, no one's going to worry about you scoring. But now he's actually taking his shots. And it might not be perfect yet. It's definitely not perfect yet. But you can see the vision. You can absolutely see the vision of how Ajax fits with this team. It's as a defensive monster who's going to be athletic and explosive and will stand and hit corner threes. And it's great. It's amazing. Like, that's all you really need. The Bucks have been looking for a player like that for a while now.
Yeah, good cutter. It doesn't do it often, but he can. You know, good awareness. He gets
a little bit of a screen setter too.
Yeah. He likes to for Dame. Dame has to, like, send him away. He always is trying to, and Dame's like, not right now. I have something else I'm going to do. I love watching Dame play point guard, so I'm not used to seeing guys, like, do all the pointing and, like, calling out as much. He does it a lot. He's like, no, you go over there. It's kind of like backyard football in a way I appreciate. So Andre, I think, was a combined 8 for 14 from the field in these 2 games. He set a career high versus Detroit and was within 1 point of it against Houston. But 8 for 14. So before those 2 games, he was 15 for 24. So he basically, like, 50% increased both his number of made shots and his attempts in just 2 games. Points as well. Again, he scored 19 combined. He has 55 after those 2 games. So it's also the most minutes he's ever played back to back. So 25, nearly 26 was a high, and then 36 in Houston blew that out of the water. Do you think there's something more than just, the injury thing happening here? I mean, you look at this Houston game. That's a real game. That's a game they wanted to win. Giannis plays 39 minutes. Chris is now like a 30-minute guy, which is a fun development. Dame plays 36. And not everyone on the bench is healthy, but you got Bobby Portis, you got Marjan, you got Pat, you got Campaign. You notice how limited Pat's minutes were or whatever, but still, a lot of options. Andre Jackson Jr. ends up 3rd in minutes played. It feels a little bit more to me than like just, he got the start earlier in the year and he played 14 minutes, right? Like this feels different.
It does feel different. It feels like an actual rotation spot. And I'm just a little concerned because it might just be an injury thing, because I think Pat, once he gets fully up to speed, is going to take more minutes. I think Jay Crowder, Bossman 99 himself, he's going to get more minutes. Malik Beasley is going to get more minutes. Ajax might be the guy that's kind of squeezed out of there or it's either Ajax or Pat, I think, because we've seen Beasley with this team and we know how Jay Crowder is going to fit with this team. It's for that like 3rd backup wing spot. It comes down to Ajax or Pat, but with this team, at least so far, we're more than a quarter of the way through the season already, and this team just hasn't had a fully healthy wing rotation.
Yeah,
and who knows if they ever will.
Yeah, hopefully,
knock on wood. Hopefully they do, but you just never know. It's good to have this depth though, and it's good to see Ajax getting these actual rotation minutes, because you never know when you're going to need him. Like he might be like a very, very important piece going forward if not everyone can stay healthy.
Yeah, I also wonder, we've seen Campaign's role shrink a bit, and this is something we talked about, he did end up playing just the non-Dame minutes just about in this game. Campaign logs 11 minutes, Dame played 36. So that's already a big reduction. I mean, Campaign used to be like 18 minutes, do some shifts with Dame, and then play the non-Dame minutes. Do you think there's ever a point we get to where Campaign can get squeezed out and they just try and rely on staggering the 3 stars and just enough ball handling from someone like Malik Beasley to keep the offense moving? Like, I feel like he, just in terms of how everyone has played, he would probably be at risk as much. I know he's had some very good games when the shots fall, but game to game,
some really bad games.
Yeah, game to game, it's gotten tough sometimes. And I think a game low, well, outside of the 11 seconds for the garbage time squad, a game low 11 minutes out of the rotation players for Payne was, I think, kind of illuminating.
Yeah, and especially when you miss all of your shots.
Yeah,
he almost had a Snell.
Oh,
he almost had a
cardio
game.
An assist and a turnover.
But he had an assist.
Oh, no, just an assist and 2 fouls.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, just an assist.
Yeah.
So, almost there. But yeah, I think that is a valid point, because Campaign, especially with the way that, Damian freaking Lillard plays, you don't need to have a backup point guard that's just like offensive heavy. Obviously, I still think it was a good signing because you kind of have to at that point.
I mean, why not?
Yes, but I do think it is possible to construct a rotation where Campaign is not in it.
Yeah, and then he's just like the Teague rule. Stay ready when Dame misses a game, boom, you got 20 plus minutes coming. Maybe even start.
Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals Campaign game.
Dude, he is the kind of player, though, who could absolutely barely play and then
do that.
Oh, I'm 7 for 9 in this game. Cool. So yeah, good player to have around. I mean,
Celtics fans are going to be waiting outside like Campaign did this.
It's a good problem to have if there's too many functional NBA players for the rotation.
It's a deep team. It's a deep team.
I wanna have a Bobby combo that I think is. I'm glad we're having it now, because it would have been a whole different combo, probably literally 1 week ago. But first, Rohan, let's talk about our synergy here and our sleeper plays. So usually we each have our own kind of screenshot up here of our daily fantasy plays with sleeper. But I messaged Rohan during the Packer game. Unfortunate game. Mid-game.
Listen to Talk of the Tundra.
Yeah, listen to Talk of the Tundra and bond with them over the trauma. But I send over, I'm sweating this one out. Good day of picks here. He sends back the exact same 3 with one different one. So I was like, okay, we need to talk about this in our sleeper segment. If you are unfamiliar, you can use promo code GYROSTEP. Get up to a 100% match on your first deposit on Sleeper, up to $100 on the Gyro Step crew and all of GSPN, really. This is daily fantasy. You can play in Wisconsin as well as like 30 other states, I believe, somewhere around there. And it's if you are playing Sleeper Fantasy already, same app. Open it up, click that money sign in the middle, get that first deposit going and play. But we can cover this one pretty fast. So Packers Sunday, I've had some success, some fun doing other sports than NBA. So as you can see here, so Rohan's is on the top, mine's on the bottom. But Jordan Love, 1.5 passing touchdowns. We both took the over, or the more than. Romeo Dobbs, 3.5 catches. We also both had the more than. And I'm realizing now I think I lined this up wrong, but that's okay.
Yep.
Tucker Kraft, 3.5 receptions. Rohan had the more than. And we both had Baker Mayfield, 0.5 interceptions. More than, unfortunately, Joe Barry is, I'll just say bad. I'll leave the big adjectives to the real Packers people, but Baker Mayfield was not throwing an INT.
Perfect passer rating for Baker. First time that's ever happened to an opponent in Lambeau.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, that's one of those things that should be grounds for firing right there.
Yeah. You let Baker Mayfield come into your house.
Some guy who probably had a nickname like Stone Arm was probably like 4 for 4 one day. And that still hadn't happened before now. Come on.
Good old tungsten arm O'Doyle.
Yeah. Exactly. Zero ligaments in his elbow, but still throwing it a whopping 5 yards downfield.
Throwing it with the other hand.
Yeah.
You just can't with this.
Straight up shovel passes.
But no, it was crazy that we sent each other and we had 3 of the 4 picks that were the same. That's just classic.
Oh no, the difference was I think I had Tucker Kraft yards and you had touchdowns, right?
I had receptions and you had yards.
Oh yeah, you had receptions. I had yards. That's it.
Yeah. So we picked 3 of the 4 exact same picks.
Yeah.
And the 4th one was the same player, just a different statistic.
And did your Kraft end up hitting?
No.
And Dobbs didn't either, right?
No.
He was half away. Both of them were half away?
Yeah.
So we were 3 halves away.
It wasn't fun.
Neither that Packers defense.
Oh wait, no, the Tucker Kraft one did go.
I was going to say catches. I thought he ended up. So yeah, Dobbs a catch and Baker a pick. So again, 1 pick and 1 more Packers drive would have been right there. Always fun. Adds a little extra intrigue, and hey, if you do well, can add a little bit of money to your account as well. So make sure to check out Sleeper and get involved today. Get playing. All right, the Bobby Portis combo. I feel like I don't want to say us, but a lot of people were kind of over Bobby Portis, putting Bobby Portis in the trade machine, everything else. And then that Indiana game, I think Bobby Portis kind of reminded Bucks fans all that he brings. On the court, while play is not ongoing, certainly, that's a big factor. And also, he's just been playing quite well against Houston. Bobby's 5 for 7, 1 for 2 from deep, 6 rebounds, 3 fouls, 11 points. Against Detroit, 31, season high for Bobby. I don't know if it's his Bucks high, but his season high. 31 and 12, 11 for 18 from the field, 4 for 7 from deep, made all 5 of his free throws, 1 assist, 1 steal. Talked about with Jordan the fact that his trapping has actually started to really pay off when his teammate is kind of with him and doing the right thing. And Bobby on the season now is up to 12.3 points, shooting 50.6% from the field, raised that percentage up to 35% from deep, 81% from free throw, along with 6.5 rebounds, 1.1 assists to 1.0 turnovers, and 1.2 stocks, steals and blocks combined. Honestly, having a pretty nice season. Oh, no, that's correct. Having, I'd say, a pretty nice season, a real big bounce back this last week or so. What are your thoughts on Bobby Portis and where he stands within this Bucks team?
I think his role is really dependent on how he's shooting, and that's what we've seen is that the perception of Bobby changes really on his shooting because he's taking the same type of shots on the offensive end, game in, game out. That's just who Bobby is. But now he's on like a hot shooting streak, and it makes everything seem better. And that actually, that I shouldn't say it like that because that sort of paints it that I think it's a negative thing. I do think he's very important to this team. I do think so. I know one of the first things we've talked about this season in the early goings was, yeah, Bobby's going to be really, really important to this team as this team sort of figures out who it is on the offensive end. And he did that. And now, once Damon, Giannis, and Chris are starting to figure it out, Bobby's getting better too. He's getting better looks. He's sort of re-emphasizing what he wants to do. He's doing a lot of chop wood, carry water type work. He's doing the dirty work. Marcus Johnson called him the garbage man against against the Pistons. Oh, he absolutely probably loved that. Absolutely loved that. He was cleaning up, just dominating inside. I mean, it doesn't help.
How many and ones did he have in that game?
A lot.
They could not keep him off the glass.
Correct. Again, we should preface and say it's the Detroit Pistons.
But that's supposed to be what they're good at. They were without Beef Stew and Jalen Duren, which obviously matters. But that is, I think that's like their one thing they're supposed to be good at is they have a good rebounding rate. So
yeah, because they have all centers. So
it's clearly not shooting. That is not their strength. Perimeter defense, not really. No.
Do they have strengths?
I get rebounding. In that game again without Beef Stew, without Jalen Duren, it's different. Those guys are also not all-stars. And I was like watching it, like, I don't know if I've ever seen an NBA team that is not good at anything. They're not great passers. Cade's a good passer. The team is not great at passing. They can't shoot at all. I mean, the Bucks were just like at a certain point where like, just go ahead. Doesn't
Except
matter.
for Bojan.
Bojan can shoot a bit, yeah. He started off a little cold, and that kind of doomed them in that game. Not great defensively at all. I was like, what? And then Kofi Yeboah, who has been struggling watching this Pistons team.
Been going.
He has had some amazing. It's all art. The most powerful emotions create the best art. He's like it's like an NFL team had a horrible offensive and defensive line. I was like, yeah, it's kind of and nothing elite around that either. But like they lose in the trenches immediately. Anyway, Bobby dominated. Well, not a good team, but it was still fun to watch.
But yeah, his sort of role has evolved is what I was trying to get there. Is he will now do the dirty work. He will now go inside battle, which is one of the things he was really struggling with was just being a big man because he is a big man. He's 6'10". Like it's what you are. He's 6'10", right? I'm not making that up.
Yeah, no, he is. Especially on this team, he's got to be a big man because they only have 3. Sorry, Robin Lopez, you're not counted.
No,
anymore.
He's basically the backup center.
Yeah.
And this is sort of reminiscent of what his role was year 1 in Milwaukee. And that's a role he really, really thrived in. It just didn't help. It didn't really work in the postseason, but the Bucks now have different counters to that. They play a lot of him and Giannis at the same time. They've done a lot of Brook, Giannis, Bobby lineups at times too. And it's just like, just unleash the beast. Continuing on from Bud's work in that Utah Jazz game, real sickos know which one I'm talking about. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch for sure. And Bobby is definitely. I was never like a doomer on Bobby.
Yeah.
I always knew like he's going to be very important to this team. Like there's proof. Like we talk every week about the Bucks. So like if you want to go back
more than once.
If you want to go back and check the tape, you can. But it's really good to see him thriving because he's been putting in the work.
One thing I think playing big and Bobby in particular playing big, the Bucks on the season give up an average of 12 offensive rebounds a game. I think we had seen in some of their closer games, some of their losses, like the defense wasn't horrible necessarily, but they give up second chance points or fast break points, and that's where things get ugly. Detroit had 10 offensive rebounds. The Rockets only had 6. So the Bucks have really put in more work boxing out, grabbing rebounds, and it has shown. I mean, give up 6 offensive, that's half of what you usually give up. The NBA leading Heat only give up 9.2 per game. So that shows you the Bucks really put in effort to keep a team to 6. Hopefully they can keep that going as well, and Bobby can continue to play a crucial role there. So I think we've covered like the biggest on-court stories. I mean, Pat came back, played pretty well. Didn't necessarily got clobbered again against Houston, which will happen. But just getting back and getting his legs under him. Jay Crowder, hopefully in about 3 weeks. We are today 5 weeks from the 8-week announcement. It is about 8 weeks, so it of course could be longer. But we've heard good things when we've heard anything about it. So hopefully not too much longer for Crowder.
I believe Eric Name of The Athletic asked both Jay and Adrian Griffin about that, and he said both of them were in lockstep, said, yeah, timeline hasn't changed.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, their Bucks are doing okay. There is certainly no need to rush back a veteran from a pretty serious injury that required surgery at all. And I think that's probably why, even if he feels great, you don't want to rush anything, is because anytime you have a surgery, you need things inside you to heal. You don't want to play around with that. So certainly do not need to rush back Jay Crowder with the way these other guys on the team have stepped up, which is the sign of a good team, a great team even. Speaking of, Adrian Griffin. So still hasn't gotten fired somehow. Bucks are. I
thought it was over.
It was done. I thought the team had given up. I mean, never mind that we see Damian Lillard fighting.
Locker room gave up. Locker room gave up on him.
Yep. The dark cloud has strangled the Bucks. They are devoid of joy as they sit second in the East with the second best record in the NBA since November 3rd when they started base drop. They are 19-7, 1.5 games behind the Boston Celtics, both teams on winning streaks. The 76ers are now the closest team behind them. They're a half game back, but of course, even if they're tied in record, the Bucks have the tiebreaker because of opening night. So they will have a little bit of an advantage there. Orlando has now dropped to 4th, but the Milwaukee Bucks have, I think, since November 3rd, they have the 3rd ranked offense behind Philly and Indiana. They have the 4th best net rating. I think Boston and probably Minnesota sneak in there, and I think Indy drops out because they have not been playing very well at all lately. What a shame. And the 14th ranked defense, which is not what we're used to. Not that bad, though. Not as bad as many have implied it is. I think, as we've talked about, pace around the league is up. The Bucks play at a very fast pace as well, which does not help their overall points numbers. I think they are 3rd in pace, only behind, or 4th. They're 4th behind Indiana, of course, and then 2 horrible teams, the Wizards and Spurs, because young teams often just run because they don't know what else to do. So that's not going to help their
Calling
point
the
totals.
Wizards a young team is funny.
Oh, yeah, true. They're not even young. They just suck. They just don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do at all. Young teams and the Wizards don't know what to do, so they run.
They got Bilal, though. So he's
I'm sure that's the reason they're running is, hey, Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma got together and said, let's build the team around Bilal Coulibaly, guys. Our number one priority this year.
Oh, man.
I still just feel bad for Poole. Did you see he was dribbling up court and he just slipped? He just slipped crossing half court and fell.
Why do you feel bad?
He doesn't deserve this much of a downfall.
He's got the ring and a bag.
That's fine. It doesn't mean his life has to suck now. I'm sure his life doesn't suck.
I'm sure his life's amazing.
His on-court life doesn't have to suck.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I don't like this when just one guy becomes a punching bag and it's not for a reason, like, you know.
He has been a punching bag.
Exactly. That's not his fault either. Milwaukee's own gets punched in the face, achieves a lot, locks in a contract. Now he's just out here trying to set a Wizards high. It's not going well. But I'm not saying we have to pretend he's great, but I just think it's like the JaVale thing with Shackton. Like sometimes we pile on too much, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would rather make fun of someone like Miles Bridges, who I think just had a Hornets record low plus minus in the game.
Oh my goodness. Minus 56. Amazing. Good. Incredible.
Hope he passes it next time out.
Hope he doesn't play basketball again.
That would be even better. Not going to hold out hope. Anyway, the Bucks under Adrian Griffin doing pretty well. Again, 14th in defense, not ideal, but that is certainly better than it was the first couple weeks of the season. And it feels like to me on both ends, I think they've just gotten a better rhythm. I think, Griffin has continued to adjust things here and there, but they still trap. I mean, they still play aggressively. They haven't gone back to quote unquote Bud's system on defense by any means. They do a lot of different things. I just kind of think it took some acclimation on both sides, like scheme tinkering from Griffin and just the players getting used to it and fully buying in. But it feels like we're there, and it feels like they've been a respectable defense and a great offense for weeks now. That's a pretty good place to be in December with still months to go before the playoffs and more growth opportunities there. But I want your thoughts on, Adrian Griffin. We are going to have a special guest to dive much deeper into scheme on this in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Much smarter look than ours, but we can still talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a development. Like, we've seen that development process occur with Adrian Griffin, I feel like, in real time. We're seeing him get more comfortable with the players. We're seeing the players getting more comfortable with him. And we're seeing him just be more comfortable being able to implement and try out new schemes. I know you had mentioned this on the post-Indiana podcast with Jordan, but...
Oh, you listened?
Of course I do. But it's like sort of the sort of misnomer of saying, yeah, Adrian Griffin's not really trying a whole lot of new things with this team. It's like, yeah, it helps. Maybe if you watch the games, it would help, because if you see, for example, just coverages against Tyrese Halliburton, they threw around like 4 or 5 different coverages at Tyrese Halliburton.
How many defenses do people think there are? Like, what else? Just throw a 6th guy out there.
I think Steve Kerr had a great quote about this a few years ago, or it was Steve Kerr or Pop. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
Said there's only like 10 ways to play like offense, defense, and it's just there's only so many machinations you can do with that, and I just don't know what people's expectations are. If they want him to reinvent the way basketball is played, that's not going to happen. He's going to take the players that he has, and he is going to develop the best scheme and system for them to thrive in. And I think while it hasn't been perfect, it definitely hasn't been perfect, they're trending in the right direction. You're seeing them get more comfortable in these different looks. You're seeing, like, Bobby, for instance, we were talking about him on the defensive end. We're getting more comfortable. Like, you can see Bobby getting more comfortable, sort of like high hedging and then recovering to the roll man and stuff like that. You're seeing these things happen in real time. It's a comfort thing. It's a comfort thing that comes with time. It can't be expected for it to happen immediately. One of the big problems under Bud was that this team would not get comfortable with these different schemes in the regular season at all. So when it came playoff time and he was like, okay, yeah, let's try this. No one knew what they were doing. Like, they would throw out a zone defense and not know what part of the zone they're in. It was ridiculous. Like, no one was comfortable doing anything different in Bud's tenure, because they never tried anything different. I mean, they did try different things, but they didn't allow themselves time to get comfortable with these different things. It felt like they were trying things just to try things. But with Adrian Griffin, they're getting so many reps playing different styles of defense, playing different styles of offense at times too, but mostly on the defensive end, because they're trying to find an identity. And it's really going to help them out in the long run, because you're seeing how just rep after rep after rep lets you be more comfortable with these different schemes. So then by the time you get to where the games matter, the postseason, you're going to have comfort in so many different schemes that Adrian Griffin can be that elite playoff level coach that we think he can be, where he's just going to be able to adapt in real time. He's going to be able to read and react in real time and adjust accordingly, because he knows that his guys are comfortable implementing so many different things.
You used a phrase that I think is really important, where it's like the Bud Bucks. Like, I remember us talking about, we didn't like their zone because they would barely do it, and they would throw it out there for like a random game, like once every month or two. It's like, oh, their zone sucks. Yeah, they play it once every month or two. Of course, it's not going to be great, and they play this other style of defense for 90%, and they worked in more switching as the games went on, but early days, 99% of the time they are just dropping, and whatever happens. I think, and I'm not, this is like we do with players sometimes, this is not saying Griffin is as good as this coach, but I think stylistically I do see some Ty Lue in that he adapts a lot, both ends, like game to game, way more than we're used to. Mike Budenholzer, kind of famously, outside of like, oh, we guard James Harden differently. But like team to team, night to night, not a ton of scheme adjustments. Like, they're dropping until you make us do something else. On offense, they had their offense and it was what it was. And we didn't love it most of the time. Griffin and the Bucks, I mean, they will do entirely different things depending who they're playing. I mean, that the most recent Pacers game, they had different ways of attacking Halliburton that we hadn't seen before. And the first and second game too, they switched up mid-game a lot more. We'll see 3 different coverages in a game, which I don't know. That was very rare in the past, especially in the regular season. The regular season, we're not used to seeing that. And I think that is probably what has me most excited for playoffs, is just knowing that this is not going to be a coach who, if something is getting fried, he's not going to offer up that same look 3 straight quarters. And I think there is inherent value in that, just because the greatest teams, they'll figure out everything. And I think Jimmy Butler and the Bucks figured out the Bucks defense, and the fact that they never doubled. They never really switched up that much what they were trying to do. They never put Giannis on them. They didn't use that many wrinkles. Jimmy got comfortable with the way Drew was defending him, and he had it figured out, and that was that. Like, you need to adjust to stop or at least hinder great players. And I'm very confident the Bucks, maybe they'll fail to stop anyone. They're certainly going to try a lot of different things, which I think is encouraging. I love they've become really good, I think, at like when they are in their switching as their defense. They scram really fluidly now. For anyone who scram switching is when, like, let's say like the other team does a 1-5 pick and roll and Bobby's on a point guard and he wanders over by, like, this is a bad example, but he wanders over by like Andre Jackson, who's on a big wing. And then they'll kind of switch their guys off the ball. So, okay, Andre, go with the point guard. Bobby, you go with the big wing. They do that a lot. They do that very well. Like, it used to feel like when the Bucks would have like a 3-player switch, like someone running around horns or like a double screen or whatever, they would just be like, oh God, where do we go? Now it just feels like they've gotten pretty good at, like, okay, I'll go with him, you go with him, I'll stay over here. And then if we have to fix it on the back end, we'll fix it, right? We'll have a big come over and make sure the point guard's not under the basket for too long, etc. It feels to me like they've gotten some real fluidity with a lot of these coverages, and I feel pretty good about most things. I still think we could see more Giannis pick and rolls. I would like to see more of an attempt for that. I thought against the Rockets, they kind of did Kawhi isolation, which was interesting. I don't know if I love it, but it worked in that game. So teams in Kawhi's Spurs heyday on defense, if he was on your best player, they would just take him out of the action to play 4-on-4 and not worry about Kawhi messing things up. Dillon Brooks is not Kawhi, but he is Houston's best defender. He's face guarding Dame 94 feet. The Bucks let Chris inbound, which drove people crazy, and run offense with Giannis and just not have Dillon Brooks involved. And they worked. They put the game away.
Yeah. Still, I think we brought this, or you brought this up in the last pod. Just Chris dribbling still gives me a little.
Scary. Just Giannis, I know you're tired. Just get it up the court, please. Bring Ajax down. Yeah. Do something here.
Because Chris is like backing guys down at 3/4 court.
He's like me for real. He's like me for real. I'm just gonna post up behind 3-point line here.
Not even at the 3-point line, like in your own backcourt.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, just go up court.
I've seen some people be like, yeah, you could tell he's still dealing with a loss of explosiveness from the injury. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if that much has changed. I don't really remember Chris saucing guys up at half court back in the day either.
Yeah.
Not as straight.
He needs to tighten up that dribble a little more.
Just tighten up the decision to pass to someone else.
Yeah.
Or
just come and set a screen for Dame so he can take the ball.
I agree. They should work a little harder on that. But the adaptability overall has been fun to watch this season.
It really has. I think you summed it up pretty well. But obviously there's still room to grow. Yeah. But there's time.
We have I think today is 4 months until the end of the regular season. Or maybe a little bit more.
It's plenty. That sounds right.
It's just about. I know it's usually around April 15th, so it's the 18th. So it might be slightly less, but I guess that would be 3 months then, right?
Nope.
No, that would be 4 months. Yeah, I can count.
Yeah, you were right the first time. The Bucks' last regular season game is April 14th.
Okay, so it's slightly less than 4 months till the end of the regular season from today, which is a lot of time. We'll probably see a slightly different roster then. I don't know how much different, but it feels like they always do something. Hopefully you'll just see a healthier roster with Jay Crowder back in the fold, but I think it's pretty hard to argue at this point the Bucks are not on a good track. They've won 4 straight. They're overall 8-2 in their last 10, which is tied with Boston and Philly. So as good as any team in the East has been in their last 10 games. And the schedule coming up, I mean, obviously we're never going to predict they win every game ever, but I think it's set up that they can certainly stack some more wins here, although they have enjoyed a very long home stand. Bucks have now won 13 straight games at home, I think, which is very good to see them defend home court at Fiserv. But Rohan, do you have it up? I know you're usually the schedule guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the Bucks are entering sort of like you mentioned, that homestand's coming to an end. Still got 2 more games at home though. Victor Wembanyama comes to town on Tuesday, the 19th, at 7 p.m. Then on Thursday, they welcome the sort of struggling Orlando Magic on a little bit of a downward skid, again at home at 7 p.m. Then their road trip starts. They got 2 in a row against the Knicks. First on the 23rd, Saturday at 11:30 a.m., which is just crazy. And then Christmas Day at 11 a.m. So that'll be fun.
Just split those, please. I mean, like, one of those feels like it's got to be dropped just because everyone's going to be half
Christmas.
asleep.
Don't do it on Christmas.
Yeah. True.
If you have to lose on Saturday. Just don't lose on Christmas because everyone's watching that.
It's a good call.
Aren't there NFL games on Christmas, though, this year?
Yeah, because... Oh, yeah, it's Monday. What? Are there?
I think there are.
I'm pulling it up.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yes, all day.
All day? Oh, my God.
So noon is Raiders-Chiefs. 3:30 is Giants-Eagles. And then 7:15 is Ravens-Niners.
They really just said F the NBA.
Yeah, they did. That's sad.
They just big brothered them.
And the NBA works so hard to avoid them, too.
Yeah, but that's 11 a.m. start on the Christmas Day against the Knicks again. Then the Bucks stay in New York Wednesday, December 27th against the Brooklyn Nets at 6:30 p.m. Then Friday, the 29th, last game of the month against the Cleveland Cavaliers, or the ghost of the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. And
hopefully there are players left by then.
Yep. Darius Garland out with a fractured jaw. Evan Mobley had arthroscopic knee surgery, I think.
Yeah, like I feel like that one was out of nowhere.
In the middle of the season?
Did you see the Garland injury?
Yeah, just hit KP hit him in the face, right?
No, he was dribbling and he dribbled trying to go through him, and I guess Kristaps Porzingis had a rib protector on. So he rammed his face into the gut of Kristaps, which had a metal some sort of hard thing to protect Porzingis' ribs, and busted his face on Kristaps' belly, more or less.
And but it's just he's gonna miss a few weeks with that injury. He's gonna miss a few weeks with that injury, which is crazy because he went to the locker room and then finished the game out. Which was it was fun, cool to see for Darius Garland. But hope you get better soon. Hope Evan Mobley gets better soon.
Have you seen the Zesty Darius clips?
What?
Did you see? He was trying to. He couldn't hear
Zesty Darius.
He couldn't hear Serena Winters, I believe, asking him a question, and he gets very he's saucy.
Yep. Sure.
It was funny. It was a funny clip. He was like, "Excuse me, I couldn't hear your question." He said it louder.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'll have to look it up later. But that's how the Bucks finish out 2023, which is crazy. In 2 weeks, it is 2024.
Yeah, and
just
the Bucks will kick off the new year by playing the Pacers again 2 more times in 3 days.
They'll probably kick it off. Literally, someone's gonna kick someone. They got blood sport.
They do. I don't think the games are going to be as intense as other people. I think they'll be good, but it's not going to be it's not going to be some crazy. I think there's enough time is passing here. Pacers have their own problems to worry about now. That I don't think it's going to be some crazy.
What did you think of the James Johnson signing?
Hilarious. They called in Big Bro to be a bodyguard.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I will say that is the one guy I will never say anything bad about. I was going to say,
Rohan's. I said the Bucks need to trade for Admiral Schofield on a two-way now. Need some more big bodies.
Don't find me in the pasta aisle, Admiral.
People keep tweeting me like, why Admiral Schofield? And I don't want to explain our long-running joke about how you're going to fight him in the pasta aisle at the Kroger?
Oak Creek Meyer.
So I just go, he's big. And he is. He's a big guy. Yeah, don't know if he fights anyone, but he's I mean, I wouldn't want to find out.
I wouldn't want to fight Admiral Schofield.
No. Pacers fall to a play-in spot now, by the way, with their recent skid. I like to kind of look around the league sometimes.
Yeah, just tragic.
Miami's in 5th. I thought they were dead.
They're putting together the devil magic again.
But the East is honest because okay, so 5th is Miami. They're 5-5 in their last 10. 6th is the Knicks. They're 5-5 in their last 10. 7th is the Pacers. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Hawks are in 10th. They're 2-8 in their last 10. I don't know what's going on. They lost pretty badly to the Cavs without Garland or Mobley.
Just a yikes.
Cavs and Nets are 6 and 4th. Jordan Tresky's Brooklyn Nets, kind of good.
Kind of good is a
good
stretch.
Good mid
is fine. Yeah, that's fair.
13 and 12. The Raptors 10 and 15. The Bulls, the Magic may have worn off there, 10 and 17.
Just 10 and 17. I mean, if you're finishing below the Raptors, that's just embarrassing.
I mean, if you're 4 games worse than the Brooklyn Nets through less than 30 games, I mean, we know the deal with this Nets team. Not a great team.
No. I think it's funny that the Raptors owe their pick to the Spurs this year.
Yeah. Only top 4 protected, too. That's a dicey spot, I believe, right? Top 4?
I believe so, yeah. It's bad. It's dicey. Dicey's one way to put it. That's the nice way to put it. I'll say bad.
Yeah.
Because they're like just competitive enough to not. I mean, it's tough because when you have the Pistons, the Wizards, and the Spurs existing, it's going to be tough to really crack that top 4.
The new lotto odds help though, so you're preying on balls at that point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. I hope they do not get that pick.
How funny would it be if they still don't trade anyone and the guys just walk?
Oh, that's what's going to happen.
That's totally on the table. Yeah.
It's going to happen because that's what they did. They lost Marc Gasol for nothing. They lost Serge Ibaka for nothing. They lost Kawhi Leonard for nothing. It's what happened.
They got the bare minimum for Kyle Lowry. They lost Fred VanVleet for nothing.
What did they even get for Kyle?
Precious Achiuwa.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him.
New B-ball ref nickname, the bare minimum for Precious Achiuwa. I think they'll sign OG. I think they're going to give OG a big contract.
I don't know if OG wants to stay there. We'll see.
I think if they pay him enough dollars, he will.
Yeah.
Gary Trent could also leave.
Pistons have a lot of money.
Spurs.
Ooh, he would be a good Spurs guy.
The Spurs are going to sit there and throw a huge bag at somebody.
Yeah, I think the Spurs and the Pistons both.
The problem for Toronto, is Atlanta too bad to trade for Pascal at this point?
I think so, but they also might do it.
Yeah, their picks are tied up too because they sent a lot to San Antonio for DeJounte.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So they might have to just do it anyway.
It's so fun talking about these big trades. It's just doesn't matter. Don't care.
Yeah. Bucks got Damian Lillard.
Yeah, we're done with the big
Bucks
ones.
Got Dame for Drew and a bag of chips. I just called my son a bag of chips.
Yeah.
For Drew Grayson and a bag of chips.
Still the Bucks all-time leader in offensive rating. Thank you very much.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, he's good. He's good.
He's a good player.
The Sun's got a big 4.
Speaking of the West, there was a report from Shams Charania that Draymond would be out for 3 weeks in counseling. They're not doing hot. They won 2 straight, withstood the Blazers late, despite Steph not making any threes for the first time in 5 years or something ridiculous. The West standings I would not have guessed anything close to this coming into the year. Just to do it quickly, I know we're over time. The Wolves, number 1. Certainly didn't see that coming. Best defense in the league, best team in the league. Thunder, number 2, 3 games back. Mavs, number 3. And then Denver in 4th. Then Kings, then Clippers. Everyone thought the Clippers were dead. They're in 6th. Pelicans in 7th. This is my sign for, a team is bad. Every time I see something from Pels fans, it's like, what could we get if we traded Zion and BI? And I'm like, here's 16 and 11. Just like they went off the ride. I don't blame them. Stephen A. Smith is calling him fat every other day. It's kind of sad.
He said he would eat a table. That's disrespect on a whole new level.
That's the thing. You can't even call out Stephen A. though, because he always will double down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm rooting for him, but he's huge. It's like, okay, you're not rooting for him that much. Like, come on. The Lakers in 8th. Christian Wood no longer plays there, so the best signing in franchise history is not aged well. The Rockets.
Did you see the video? Did you see the video of D'Angelo Russell being asked who's the best defender on the team?
No, what'd he say?
Christian Wood.
So, who
on a team where you employ Anthony Davis?
Oh yeah,
and LeBron James.
I forgot about Anthony Davis.
Anthony, one of the best defensive players of the generation.
AD's number one, and then maybe like Vando. Cam Reddish has a lot of deflections. Yeah. I don't know if he's that good though.
I'd say Vando too,
and then maybe LeBron. Honestly,
yeah, LeBron locked in LeBron.
Yeah,
Christian Wood is not high on that list.
No.
Not at all.
If he was, he would play.
D'Angelo's like, yeah, he puts in the same level of effort that I do on defense. It's like, ooh, do you think you're good on defense? He didn't actually say that, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah.
Houston 9. They're fine. They're good. They're better than I thought they'd be, but I think they will be a playing team. Phoenix in 10. They got to be. I mean, I don't know if they can do anything, but the injury stuff is just like very concerning. Brad Beal just can't stay out there. They got booed because they were losing to Washington in the first quarter of a game, which maybe is the earliest boo I've ever heard. And it was about like 5. They ended up winning that game. But I was like, wow, Phoenix is testy, man.
They are. They really are. It's not looking good in Phoenix.
Golden State won 2 in a row, and they're still 12-14 now. Do you think are people shoveling dirt on the dynasty too early?
No.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Do you think they can save it with a trade?
No. I don't know who they're going to trade for.
I keep seeing people like, what team should trade for Draymond? Why would anyone?
Yeah, why? I don't. Apparently the Mavs. And it's like, why?
They do have a type. Oh, you're getting a lot of trouble, so your price is lower? Come on in.
Welcome to Dallas.
We will try our best to cover it up.
Mark Cuban, while you're still here, do your thing.
Yep, that is the Cuban special. That's a good call. They could certainly do that.
But it's crazy that Draymond Green, even though he's suspended, has more ejections this season than the Pistons have wins.
Ooh.
He has the same amount of suspensions as Pistons have wins.
I still remember, and it's still true because they haven't won in so long. It was like this crazy. It was like a Pistons person on Twitter put like, they have yet to win 5 games since they got rid of him. And everyone quote tweeting it like, you won't believe who this is about. It's about Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, it's Sadiq
and it's still true, I think.
Yeah.
What is the record for consecutive losing streak?
Let's find out.
They got to be coming up on it. I mean, this does not happen often.
Longest losing streak in NBA history.
Oh, I forgot the Spurs snapped theirs. Congrats to the Spurs.
76ers had a 28-game losing streak.
Oh, they're right there.
Wait.
Oh, was that across 2 seasons?
It was across 2 seasons.
Did they do it already?
No, there's no way because they haven't even reached their record.
No, they did. They passed theirs.
Let's see here.
I think it's this.
Reuters articles.
I think they did it.
Longest losing streaks in NBA history. I think 26 by the Cavs.
And the Sixers. They both did it.
No, the Sixers, that was still across 2 seasons.
No, in 2013-14, they did that in 1 season.
Oh, they did 26. Yeah. The Cavs had a 24-game losing streak across 2 seasons. But they're 5, like in a single season, they're 3 games away.
They are 1 more loss away from being top 5 solo. Right now, they're in a 4-way tie for 5th. Here's how you know it's bad company. The Vancouver Grizzlies and Charlotte Bobcats are 2 of the other teams. It's not good. And then the Denver Nuggets in 97-98 are also here. And then they'll be tied with another loss with the Cavs in the 80s, the early 80s. But that is another multiple season streak. So yeah, the two single season streaks that are longer are 26. Cavs and Sixers both did it. And then, yes, the Sixers have the longest across seasons of the process. Sixers did 28. We got to look at the Pistons schedule.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So 6 is longest ever, and that would be in a single season longer than the multiple season. Oh, they go to Atlanta. Huge potential for them. Huge potential to snap it. Atlanta doesn't care.
Oh, man.
They host the Jazz. I actually think the Jazz go crazy on them. I also saw a report that they want 5 first-round picks for Lauri Markkanen, which is funny.
Yeah, I would be shocked if the Pistons won that game.
Nets, 2 straight games, one in Brooklyn, one in Detroit, in Boston, and then they host the Raptors.
God, I hope they beat Boston.
That would be very funny. That's in Boston.
I really hope they beat Boston. Can you imagine if they beat Boston?
Then they go to Houston. That would be awesome.
That might be the highlight of my season.
We said they need to win and lose 6 to set the new record, right?
Yes.
So yeah, in Atlanta tonight, Monday night is huge. That's a big one. If they lose that one, I think I'll believe they can do it. Wow, history at stake here for in the Central Division. The Bucks are making history. Pistons also making history.
The Pistons, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for them. Troy Weaver's got to be gone after the season, right?
I don't think he should even make it out the season. I think they should bring in someone else to try. I mean, they need to tear down the studs again.
Yeah. Which is crazy because they don't even have studs.
No, it's Bojan. Bojan is the one piece of drywall in the house. They have to tear it down
and Cade.
Well, I don't think you have to get rid of Cade.
No, I don't think you do. If you want to give him to the Bucks, though, that's fine.
Cade, Ivy are 2 studs. Duren is a stud. You got a couple studs. You don't have much copper piping. There's not much value in there that you can get rid of, but
there's definitely no wiring in there.
No.
There's no plumbing either.
Beef stew is like I don't know, a well.
A well.
And then what's a big money sink? There's a boat. There's a Monty Williams boat in the driveway that doesn't float, but you still have to pay a lot of money for it.
Yep. Oh man, it's going to be Atlanta. Atlanta's the big game tonight. Tonight could be the night that they end the winning streak.
I might have to watch that
or end the losing streak. Yeah, me too. I don't even know what the Monday Night Football game is.
Oh, it's Eagles. Actually, my fantasy football playoff dreams in the GSPN league depend on that game. But I might be done anyway. So,
yeah, I think I'm done too.
Fantasy football is stupid anyway. Although my fantasy basketball is going worse. So daily fantasy is where it's at. Everything else, dumb.
Yep, I have officially lost in our league. I will say, I will pride myself. I started the season 0-4. 0-4. And I finished 4th in the league, in a 12-team league, I believe.
It's not bad.
8-6. I won an 8-2 run the rest of the way. It all comes crashing down.
Injuries forced me to start Rico Dowdle yesterday. So who? I am salty. Thank you.
Who?
Cowboys backup running back.
That's a made-up name.
Rico
Dowdle?
I may be saying it wrong.
That's a 2025 Madden draft selection from 1980. That's going Rico.
He got me 3 points, so not a great showing for old Reek yesterday.
I'll tell you what, Deontay Foreman got me minus 0.6. So
that's rough.
That was tough. That one was tough. I had to sign because Tyreek Hill was injured.
Yep.
So that was unfortunate and probably my downfall.
I think players should stop getting injured. If I was a player, I would simply choose not to get injured.
Yeah, if I was Roger Goodell, I'd say injuries are outlawed.
Turn them off. Go into the settings. Say nope.
Easy. Yeah.
Idiot.
I don't know why no one's done that yet. But I think we're done here. We'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
Say thank you for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on Blue Wire and GSPN. Make sure you check out gspn.info to find all of our links. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you're listening to this or watching this podcast platform of choice. YouTube, leave a 5-star rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Engage in the comment section on YouTube. Pod random, and we'll talk to you next time.